This is Giovanni Roverso in Bellingham, Washington. You're watching Live Music Fights for Survival, Part 3. On May 10th, I interviewed Kristin Nelson. She started working in live music as a student, putting on shows at the Full Dome Spinell Planetarium at Western Washington University. She eventually formed her own companies after working as a booker for the Firefly Lounge.
My two businesses are Spacechurch booking, which is where I do, all my booking and some kinds of artist management services. People reach out to me. That might be artists, that might be managers, booking agencies, but people reach out to me looking to book something in Bellingham, and I kind of just connect them with the right venues and the right production and the right support for their shows. And then my other company is Xtra Productions, which is a lighting company. Our big thing is lasers, but we also do projections and all kinds of atmospheric lighting. We do some art installations and stuff like that. So it's rough because events were definitely the first ones to get hit. Even before the bars and everything, we were out 2 weeks in advance of that. I had all these shows lined up and everything, and they just couldn't happen anymore. Very suddenly, and some of it was a little more of a slow burn where I was just in touch with agents and artists, and we were like, hey, let's both, we all know this is something weird is happening here, so let's just keep in communication, we'll work together and figure it out. But, with lighting stuff, that's much more directly affected, where it sucks because lighting and production just got out of its slow season, which is all through winter. Production companies are really hurting because it's really hard to get work. So our production company's good season is spring and summer, especially around festivals, which is where most of the production money is, to be honest. And so a lot of that money that we were counting on was just suddenly gone. Like Banff, Bellingham Arts and Music Festival, they had to pull the plug on that, which is super sad because that's an event that I've been involved in since the beginning. So many gigs that we were just ramping up to do were just gone. And that was super hard because we're a new lighting company, and we just invested a bunch in getting this gear together and working ourselves up, and we were lining up a lot of things that were putting us on a good trajectory, and then all of that was just kind of pulled out, and we just kind of have to reconsider what we're going to do from here. And luckily, as a newer company, we weren't necessarily relying on that income as our sole source of income, which isn't the case for most production companies. But it's definitely hurting. I wasn't able to pay my rent for the first time in my life when April came around, and luckily I have an awesome private landlord, and I was able to work out a deal with him, and he was extremely flexible. So yeah, the hit to the events industry was hard, and it was sudden, and then it was just gone. Most people in the event industry are independent contractors, self-employed business owners, who aren't able to get on unemployment very easily. So yeah, it's just put everyone I know in an incredibly difficult financial situation. I do have some holds for shows on the books right now for this summer and this fall and winter. They're confirmed, but we're gonna have to play it by ear. And one of the difficult things I'm having to work with right now is I have some international artists who want to come and play Bellingham. They have to be super sure that it's going to be able to happen because visas aren't cheap, plane tickets aren't cheap. The main source for income for a lot of artists is touring. So they're trying to get back on the road as soon as they can. As soon as things open up, they want to be here and do it. We run into so many issues with visas getting screwed over without a pandemic that I can't even imagine. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be difficult for a while. Venues live on such a fine line of profitability that, they're hurting right now. I can't even imagine the stress of being an in-house booker right now. I'm kind of glad I'm not. The moment they're ready to open, they also need their books filled, and that's hard. But I think it's super interesting if you look at the phase plan that Inslee rolled out, phase 3, is where it becomes you can have gatherings of under 50 people. And it says in phase 4 is the one where concert venues and stuff open up again. But I guess it'll be interesting to see kind of what the interpretation is there of like, if maybe like a concert venue can't open up somewhere like the Wild Buffalo, but is that in like something you can do if it's under 50 people? It's hard to know right now. I feel personally very inspired to want to host shows with under 50 people that have a high production value and really excellent bands and like a super intentional audience where it's like, if you're going to that show that night, that means someone else can't go, someone else who might want to go. So like, you better stay there the whole night because like you're taking an opportunity that someone else might want. I think it's another really good time for people to start to learn video and to experiment with that and get the same creative satisfaction that they can get out of that as they can putting on a live show. I've seen a lot of really interesting live streams, and I think people should just see the live stream itself as a creative outlet. You know, like I saw one of my friends the other day, Julian, put on this awesome live stream where it was essentially like a one-shot music video. And I hadn't seen anything like that before, and it's so much more engaging than like someone who just puts a camera in front of them and they're just like in their like boring living room. It's time to try new things. With like we're stuck in weird times, so let's keep making it weirder.